y'all, welcome back to another video. As you can see in front of me here, I've got my new Yamaha R6. Very excited about this. As I was saying in that last video, can't wait to show it to you guys. So yeah, here she is. Today gonna be pretty simple, going over what I like about it, what's done to it, how it's been as a new rider and everything. These black flies are fucking insane, bro. And yeah, anyway, enough talking. As always, let's get right into it. Check this thing out, give you guys a little rundown. Alrighty guys, starting off strong. The first thing I really noticed when I picked this thing up was the exhaust. It sounded absolutely insane. And as I'm sure you guys have noticed, it's got a full Leo Vinci exhaust on here. These bikes with a stock exhaust doesn't sound quite as good. Full system, really makes the inline 4 bark. Full carbon tip on there is great. Doesn't heat up at all. Got some good flames coming out of it last night, so I'm gonna try to capture that on the 360 cam as well tonight. Next thing that I noticed about this thing, on bikes I've ridden in the past, never had a quick shifter or auto blip. This one does, so that's a good plus. I really enjoy it. Definitely not something you need, but definitely something to add on if you're looking to throw some money into something. Literally just flip the throttle on your shifts, pops right into gear. And now that I've ridden with it, I don't want to go back. Going more into the settings on these bikes and how you want to have them set when riding, that was something I didn't know anything about. This is obviously my first bike, so I'm still learning. Now that I've owned it for a few weeks, getting a little more familiar with it. I at first had it in the A mode in the B mode, out of the A and B mode. There's one in the middle as well, which I'm not sure about. Used to have it in the B. It was good to begin with. Kept it pretty unresponsive off the throttle. It was a little more easy to manage for someone that was just getting into it. Moving into the A mode more recently, it's a lot more fun to ride, a lot more responsive, a lot quicker right off the lines. Traction control system is another big thing that I played with a little bit. At first I was running it in the 6, up at 6, which was a little bit less responsive. Kept the back wheel not from grabbing quite as hard. Putting it down towards 1, between 1 and 3 I've noticed is the most responsive off the throttle. I usually ride with the traction controls around 3 to 4 now in A mode. It makes it pretty snappy. It also just sounds really good. Not that that stuff really makes any difference on the sound of the bike, but that's kind of where my settings are at right now. Let me know what you guys do, how you ride, and I could play around with a few other ones as well just to see what works best. Super comfortable ride. The seat is actually really uncomfortable. That's definitely gonna be one of the things that I don't like as much about this bike. After a good hour or two ride, your ass starts to hurt really bad. Gonna see if I can get that reupholstered and then get some more foam in there or something to make it a little more enjoyable. Granted, these bikes aren't necessarily meant for long rides, but that is something to keep in mind for sure. I mean, other than the seat being a little uncomfortable, overall, can't complain. As a new rider, I think this is a great bike to begin on. If you've had some experience, maybe dirt biking in the past like I have, and as long as you respect the bike and you don't get all cocky on it and everything, and you know your boundaries, I think riding within your limits and riding your own ride on one of these is definitely doable. That's kind of where I stand at on that. I know a lot of people say start on a 400, start on a 250, but I knew personally that when I started on one of those smaller bikes, I'd get tired of it, and then I just have to go through the selling and buying process all over again, which really wasn't worth it in my opinion. But yeah, other than that, I really like the white look. Kind of gives me like a Stormtrooper vibe overall. Honestly, these 600s got all the power you need and more. I've got some buddies that have leader bikes, R1s, CBR 1000s, S1Ks, all that good stuff, and don't get me wrong, it's a great time. I just know I'd go a little past my limits on one of those things and end up regretting it. This bike's got all the power and more in my opinion. Definitely no regrets on the power side of things. Yeah, that's kind of my little review of the bike so far. What I've learned about it so far in my brief riding experience. The biggest thing I can say is when you're buying one of these, go out, ride your own ride. Don't feel pressured by other people. I also just picked up some new gear. Picked up an AGV helmet. Looks sweet. I really like it. Fits amazing as well. I have a pretty big head, so I ended up going with the XL. Got some Alpine Stars boots. Just the basics. Got some gloves. I picked up the Alpine Star gloves and I really didn't like them. The carbon on the knuckles started to cut into my hands, especially on shifts and whatnot. I wear some thin dirt bike gloves. I know it's not ideal, but it's way more comfortable, way more breathable. They're not going to do shit if I go down, but that's kind of the risk you take on some of these gear decisions. But I think I'm going to throw you guys on the 360 cam now and get into some actual riding for you. Y'all, I'm so frustrated right now. I filmed an entire segment for you guys and I didn't hit record. And now here I am, doing it for the second damn time. Anyway, here she is, the new AGV. Can't complain, I like it a lot. I think it's pretty sleek profile overall. It's on back order for like a month, so it took a little longer. Definitely gonna need a pin lock on this bad boy. Fogs up every time. As you guys can see, I've got the dreaded gloves here, the Alpine Stars. These things fucking blow, let me tell you. You can see here on the carbon knuckles, They are XL, so I don't know if they're too big, too small, what the deal is, but they do cut into my finger a little bit when I'm like that. Like, assume with the clutch being below the bar, you're up like this a little bit. So with that bend, that crease right there, it cuts in. I mean, I'm sure they'd save you from a slide a lot better than any other gloves, just for the price point, I assume that. But in my opinion, definitely not worth it. I wouldn't recommend. Take some fucking side mirrors right off. Yeah. Got the 360 cam here. My thought process is kind of clamp it onto the passenger peg and then have it sticking up like that. I mean, it looks good, right? Just like that, guys. We got it figured out. Let's go. Let's get some flames going. Get some actual riding in. See you guys at nighttime.